Welcome to Elevated, a place where the mystical meets the everyday. I am Dawn, a stay-home mom to a wild and spirited boy, and a guide in the realms of Reiki, Akashic Records, natural healing, and soulful living. Here, we'll talk energy, intuition, spirituality, but also the realness of motherhood, wellness, and creating balance in the chaos of it all. So grab your tea, take a deep breath, and join me as we explore healing, alignment, and the beauty of both the magical and the messy. Welcome to Elevated. Welcome to Elevated. How are you doing, beautiful souls? I hope you are doing wonderful. I am having an absolutely wonderful day. We have 3 new baby chickens, so that's super exciting. We're hatching about 26, I believe, is our total that we got. So I'm hoping that we get another 23 little baby chickens. But right now we have 3. They just started yesterday. They should be hatching. Today is day 21. So most of them should be coming out today. It can take up till tomorrow as well to hatch. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get another 23 chickens. Usually what they say is you get half and half. So if you have 26 and they all hatch, you're going to have 13 hens and 13 roosters. I'm hoping that we actually have more hens than roosters. Obviously, we want the eggs from them. We just don't keep a rooster in with our flock. If you have too many, it can cause a lot of problems. I want to thank you so very much for listening to my podcast. If you're new here, thank you for clicking and taking the time to listen. And if you are someone that has been around for some time listening to my podcast, I want to thank you. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate all the times when you comment and you rate and you review and you subscribe to my podcast. It does help my podcast get noticed in the podcast world and get pushed out more to more listeners. And one of my goals this year is to get pushed out and to obtain more listeners and for more people to find my podcast. I love doing my podcast and I just want more people to be able to listen and maybe to learn and maybe to heal in some ways from it as well. If you're interested in any of my services, I do Akashic Record reads, I do Reiki, I do access bars. I have a website, which is elevatedsoulhealing.com that you can go to, see all that I offer. I offer animal Reiki, child Reiki, adult Reiki. I offer Akashics from you wanting a couple questions answered to you wanting to dive really deep and find out your karma of your past or this lifetime. So a star seed or soul expressions, so the chakra gifts that you're given. And then I do access bars and I do that distantly. The nice thing is all of my services are distance, so you don't have to be in my area to come and see me. I can do it distantly. You can be in the comfort of your own home. I am the type of person that when I have to go to a practitioner's office, I get really nervous. And it takes a long time for those nerves to subside. So sometimes I wonder, do I get as great of a healing session because I'm nervous and I'm always like, okay, am I going to sweat too much? Am I going to burp? Is if I fall asleep, am I going to snore? And especially if you don't know the practitioner, it's like, am I going to do okay with them? Am I going to jive with them? And then this way, if it's distantly, you don't have all that stress. You can just lay down on a bed that is comfortable for you. And for the hour, you can enjoy the healing that is going on if it's Reiki or access bars. And then with the Akashic Records, I will send you a recording depending on which one we're doing, or we can even do a Zoom as well. So we can connect that way. There are different options for that, and it's in the comfort of your own home. Today, I want to talk about a course that I went to yesterday. Now, there was 2 parts of this course, so I'm only going to talk about the first part of the course. The second part is really intriguing. It's something I need to wrap my head around a little bit more and understand first before I want to discuss it. And the first part is basically parts of your body and they are hurt or if something happens to them, what does that actually mean on an energetic level? So I'm really excited to have that discussion. I was so lucky to get in with my body talk practitioner. He's the one that facilitated this. I guess a lot of people have been after him to do a course and it's more I think on the second part of what we learned most of us were there for and very interested in. And the first part is great because as a Reiki practitioner, as a bars practitioner, this can help definitely. Just in my knowledge and what maybe we could help even further on. It was a really great day. And the information that I got, it was a lot of information. And I just want to share it. Partly, I want to share it so I have a place that I can go back to that I know where this information is. So in 6 months, if I forget something, I can go back and the information is as new as it can be. I should have done it last night, but the timing just didn't work to do a podcast about it. I took a lot of notes, but sometimes even with your notes as you're learning, you don't write everything down. You don't write those side conversations down. And those are still fresh in my brain. So I wanted a place where I could have a recording of what I learned, and then I can go back to and listen to it and be like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah." So, I think it's gonna be one that you're gonna be very intrigued with, and you're gonna learn a lot from as well. Before we get into the topic, of course, I did a card pull today. So, I did ask, "What is it that the collective needs to hear?" I always ask my cards to jump out. I am using the Soul Helper Oracle by Christine Ariana Fader. It is one of my absolute favorite decks. I think it's just so beautiful. The cards are beautiful, the illustrations are beautiful, and the information in the book is just easy to understand. We got card number 14, and it is a difficult path is being revealed. Ask for help and learn that we are all connected. I'm going to read from the book now so you have a full understanding of the card. Life and your soul path have their secrets. The path can be challenging, and it is at these times that both the fool and the wise person learn that there is no such thing as autonomy. We are determined by all that exists. Everything is fundamentally interconnected, all influences all. The divine source wishes to teach us about this connectedness, and we learn best along the parts of our soul path that are rocky, unsafe, and even scary. We will discover allies who will teach us deeply with their empathy and willingness to help. And we will become sympathizers, lovers, and helpers. And from time to time, even heroes and heroines. Your path is difficult at the moment, but this is an opportunity for you to forge links with others in order to grow beyond yourself, to help each other, and to take it in turns and to be supported and to be supportive. Consciously seek out allies and fellow travelers in the outside world. Be brave and ask for help. Recognize you are not alone, that you have friends and helpers in all the worlds, in all the times, and in all the dimensions. Call upon them and accept their powers and their good advice. In particular, seek out the aid of the helpers recommended to do so immediately. They will give you everything you need right now, including protection. Work particularly intensively with the recommended number to achieve this. Your helpers for the next 21 days, the power animal is the wolf. Your herbal essential oils is orange. The healing crystal is sodalite. And the number is 5. So there we have it. Card number 14, a difficult path is being revealed. Interesting. I don't always like receiving that one because I'm like, what do I have to learn? But all learning is great and it is helping our soul evolve. So that's wonderful. Our topic today is on decoding the body, meaning each part of our body has a specific meaning of something that is going on energetically, spiritually. Before I get into each part of the body, I want to do a little bit of background so you kind of understand maybe where I'm coming from, how this may work, that type of thing. You're going to need to know masculine and feminine side. Now, I believe this changes if you're right handed or if you're left handed. Your right handed side is your masculine side. The left handed side is your feminine side. If you are a left handed person, it reverses. So that means then that your right side is your feminine side and your left side is your masculine side. 95% of our actions that we do in a day are subconscious. We don't think about it. We don't think about showering. We don't think about making our coffee. We don't think about really how to get to work. You just subconsciously get in your car. You do the same things. You buckle yourself in, you put your key in, you start the vehicle, you put the vehicle in reverse. Like nowhere are you physically thinking, Okay, I need to take my arm and I need to reach up to grab my seatbelt and pull it across myself and buckle it in. Okay, now I need to reach into my pocket, grab my keys, put my key in the ignition, and turn the ignition. Or in my case, hit the button. We don't physically think of every single step that goes into that. It's just a subconscious thing that we do. We're like, okay, this is how we do it. And we just know. And our body works on subconscious 95% of our day. The subconscious is in the now, it is in the present. With the subconscious, there is no past and there is no present. So it doesn't know any difference. And this is very important for this as we go through, and I'll explain it a little bit more later. So if you're doing too much of one thing or nothing of that one thing, it's an unbalanced situation. And if you're unbalanced, you're in a repeating mode. If you're balanced, meaning you're doing the right amount, you're not doing too much and you're not doing nothing, but you're kind of in the middle, you're in balance and you're repairing. And this is important again a little bit later on, and I'll explain kind of where it'll come into. Accidents are actually our subconscious showing us what is going on. So accidents are not coincidences. They don't just happen. It is literally our subconscious putting us in a situation so that we can look at something we need to look at. Okay. So, say you're out playing pickleball and all of a sudden you fall down, you hurt your knee. That is not an accident. That is your subconscious having you slip that way and hurt your knee so that you now have to look at the knee and find out what the energetic, spiritual meaning of the knee is. Okay. You're in the kitchen, you're making lunch and you chop your finger. Again, there is an underlying energetic spiritual meaning to that finger. Once you figure that out, once you figure out the pattern, it could be you, it could be family, then you can repair that situation. Basically, if you cut a finger, and maybe I'll get more into this in the finger part, but if you cut a finger, by understanding the energetic and spiritual part of it, you can actually stop the blood flowing out of your finger. This is how powerful what I learned is. If you are born with a certain physical issue, emotional issue, whatever the case might be, that is from the family line. If the issue started at a certain age, it would be linked to the following energy. Newborn to 5 years old is a mother energy. 5 to 12 years old is a father energy. And 12 and up is your energy. The energy doesn't mean that it has to be from your mother. So if something happened between ages of newborn to 5, it's not necessarily from your mother, but someone that is a mother figure in your life. So that could be a teacher, that could be if you have a single parent. So say, yeah, it could be even a mom is a single parent or a father is a single parent, and the single parent has to take on both roles. So they're taking on mother and father. It could be from the absence of that as well. It could be from a close family member. It can be from a neighbor, like someone that has a significant part of your life. If you are adopted, it could be partly your birth mother, or it could be even from your adopted mother. Do you see where I'm going with that? It doesn't have to be from your physical mother. That is going to kind of play into parts. An example of that would be scoliosis, usually is determined around age 12. So essentially, what that could be is somewhere along the line, that child felt like they had to take on the weight of their family. And when they became 12, now their body is showing scoliosis because they have the weight of the family on them. And they have a belief system that they have to take on this weight of the family. So this is a lot of belief systems is why our body does what our body does, because we have limiting beliefs, we have a belief system. And I do want to say there is no good and there is no bad. We as humans make good and bad. We as light beings, there is no good and there is no bad. There's just experiences. But because on earth we have duality, I know this is bringing into my Akashics learning, but because when Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, she granted us duality. She granted us good and bad, evil and light. That is what we've gotten. So we have put belief systems on ourselves that this is a good experience, this is a bad experience, versus just saying, I'm experiencing, I'm having an experience. As a light being, as a soul, we are here to experience. That is it. We are here to experience grief. We are the ones that label grief as bad. We are here to experience birth. And we say that that is a good experience. Do you see what I'm saying? Collectiveness and ourselves say that this is good and this is bad. Someone being angry is bad. Someone being happy is good. Can we just say it's an experience? We're having an emotion, we're experiencing the emotion. There is no good, there is no bad. And I just want to say that. So, what we're going to go through as we go through the body parts, I want you to think about if you have a body part, say that is sore, if you have a condition of sorts, I want you to think about where did that come from? Were you born with it? Did it happen when you were a newborn to 5? Did it happen when you were 5 to 12? Did it happen when you were 12 and older? You'll be able then to go in and see, okay, it happened between 5 and 12. So it's going to be based more on my father figures. It's going to be based on more of the masculine side of things, right? So, did I have an abandoned father? Did I have an overprotective, loving father? Like all those kind of things you're going to have to look into. So I want you to take the time. I want you to listen to this, and you might have to come back frequently and listen to it a little bit more to really understand why something may be happening in your life. Let's get into it. Let's start off with head and hair. So it is confidence and security. The head is authority and identity. So if you have, a head injury, potentially a brain injury, you're going to want to look at authority and identity. Hair is internal confidence and strength. So let's think about this. Balding people, let's look at that. Are you losing your hair? Let's look at that. What is your internal confidence? How are you talking to yourself? What is your strength? Your hair is connected to the central nervous system. So, this is why when you're in perimenopause and menopause, you start to get thinning of the hair because it is connected to our central nervous system as well. So, we have to look at that. But the other one to look at as well is what is your internal confidence? What are you saying to yourself? How are you talking to yourself? Perimenopause and menopause brings up a gamut of things, but we can also look at it from this core as well. And this can be emotional or physical. So again, perimenopause, emotional, right? For men, usually you see it sort of in the time frame where they're retiring as they get older, they're losing their hair. Are they losing that internal confidence because now they don't feel like they have the purpose of going out, supporting the family, having something to do every day, so they may start losing their hair that way. Very interesting. I like this because I can look at my own life and I can be like, oh, my thinning of the hair? Yes, I'm in perimenopause. It could be a central nervous system thing for sure, 100%. Or is it my internal confidence in how I talk to myself? So we're going to change how I talk to myself, and hopefully that'll help a little bit and then, you know, deal with the perimenopause stuff. Another thing that I want to say that I forgot to say as well is stress is control, which is actually fear that we need to feel safe. And then tension is stress, which is control. When we are stressed, we are trying to control a situation because we are actually very fearful of an outcome of that situation. Me, stressing over what my kid eats because I'm very fearful that if he doesn't eat 100% perfect, he's going to have problems later on in his life. Yes. Okay, headaches. Overthinking with no solution to a problem. I like reading that because at first I had overthinking and I was like, I overthink all the time, but I don't have headaches. But I usually have a solution to what I'm overthinking about. I have multiple solutions, which then makes me have more overthinking of what solution would be the best one. But I have solutions. Maybe that's why I don't have headaches. And as stress from overthinking, there's a mental overload. The headaches can be pulsing, they can be migraines, they can be premenstrual, they can be ocular migraines, which then the ocular migraine is also the central nervous system and its connection with the small intestine. So all headaches would be with a connection to the small intestine, okay? Which then is your digestion. Are you digesting your food properly? Are you constipated? Do you have a lot more diarrhea, say? Or again, are you eliminating or not eliminating? It could also be, what do I not want to look at, right? What is it that I'm fearful of looking at? What don't I want to look at? And there's a perfection and an over control factor to this as well. So having to be a perfectionist and having to do over control everything that happens. Again, I don't know why I don't have headaches. Seriously. Your eyes is avoidance of what you don't want to see. So farsightedness is you don't want to see the future and you're fearful of the future. Nearsightedness is you don't want to see what is close to you right now. So your partner, something personal, something like that. Your face is avoidant to what you don't want to see. So again, that's your eyes, your ears as well. And we'll talk about ears in a second. Your nose is for danger. Back in caveman days, we were actually able to use our nose to sense out if danger was coming. Was there a bear? Was there a saber-toothed tiger that was going to come? We could sniff out the danger. Now that we no longer are in danger like that, now that we have nice homes and we are safe and we don't need that skill, we're losing the ability to actually sniff out danger. However, sometimes when you don't like a person, it's more their pheromones that you're smelling, or it's their smell, and you're picking up on that danger of that person. You use your nose as well to find your partner. Their pheromones, we're attracted to their pheromones. So they're not dangerous. So we feel safe with them, that type of thing. So it's not just always the bad, it can be the good as well. For your ears, it's avoidant of what you don't want to hear. That makes sense. So you don't want to hear the truth about yourself. It could be how you talk to yourself as well. You don't want to hear that. So if you have ear problems, if you are going deaf, if again you need a hearing aid as you get older, it's because you don't want to hear the truth about you. You maybe don't want to hear that you're getting older. Maybe you don't want to hear that you have to go to a home. Maybe you don't want to hear about your medical problems, something like that. If you're born deaf, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with your family line. So you don't want to hear about the family line. You don't want to know per se what was going on in the family line. You don't want to know all that kind of stuff because there is no family line that is perfect. We all have baggage. And this, again, isn't just about you, it's about what we inherit from our ancestors as well. So our family line. Okay. Flexibility is our central nervous system. So if you're having problems flexing, if you're having problems touching the floor, you should be doing stretches with movements, and that'll help your central nervous system. Again, we saw here kind of where a lot of this might be part of our central nervous system, and we will need to work on the next central nervous system in order to help us as well. When you work on something in your physical body, even emotional body, you are helping to heal your generational line, whether you know it or not. It's just how it is. It is 7 generations before you, 7 generations after you. So if you have something physical in your line like this and you work on it because it's something you can work on, you are helping to heal your generational line. Next, shoulders. Carrying a burden about family, communication. So if it's on the right side, it's communication. If it's on the left side, it's going to be work or kids. A lot of times when people have frozen shoulder, it is so deep and it is so strong, whatever their belief system is, whatever is causing that, that's why their shoulder is frozen. Okay. Once you realize it, once you work on it, you'll be fine. And I'm going to say, my husband has gone to our body talk practitioner. Well, he went one time. So I think he struggled for a year. It was to the point where his shoulder, it wasn't frozen, but he was thinking he was probably going to have to get surgery on his shoulder. And he's like, oh, I can't really afford that. At that time, he had a helper, but he's a small business. It was him and another guy. And he's like, I can't afford to take time off of work. And so he went to the body talk practitioner. We're like, okay, let's go to him. Let's see what will happen. He goes and he says, yeah, my shoulder. And he was at the point where he had to literally hold on to his elbow, lift up, put his hand onto the gear shift of the vehicle and pull it down. Like he had to use his other arm to start lifting his one arm because his shoulder was so bad. He goes to our body talk practitioner, and I don't know, it must have been, I think it was his left side. So it was something to do with the pressure of work. And body talk practitioner was like, "Oh, you're stressed about work and all the pressure from that and just, finances and all that kind of stuff, right?" And he literally did his stuff that he does. And my husband walked out and he goes, I don't want to say anything, but it's like, I think I can use my arm. And it took him a couple days until he trusted that he could use his arm again. And then he would use his arm. And it's been perfectly fine ever since. So the right side is going to be family related. So relationships, partners, even kids can go in there, friends, coworkers. The left shoulder is going to be work related and it's going to be kids related as well. The next one is your neck and your upper spine. Something you don't want to look at or communication related. So your C1, C4 is something you don't want to look at, okay? Your C4 to C5 is an injustice with the family. And your throat is your fears, communication. When you start coughing, that is actually an issue with what is being said. So if someone is talking to you and all of a sudden you're like, that you didn't agree with what they told you and you don't know how to communicate that. So then you start having a cough with it, which is interesting. I like knowing that because maybe now, even myself, if all of a sudden someone's talking and I cough, that random weird sort of clearing your throat kinda you're like, "Oh." And you gotta take this too, like, if they have a cold and they're coughing, don't read into that, right? If they're yawning and they had a great sleep the night before, but they start yawning when you're speaking to them about something, that's their body actually shifting into what you're saying, and they're taking it in, and their subconscious is starting to process it and potentially believe part of it, okay? The middle of your spine is the pillar of the family. So it's the weight of the family. That's where I said kids who develop scoliosis around the age of 12 and 13, they're taking on a lot of the family stressors, right? They're taking on the family weight. So if it's a daughter that developed the scoliosis, it's going to be more on the maternal side of things. If it's a son that developed the scoliosis, it's going to be more on the paternal side of things. So it could be, for instance, if the daughter always saw the mom in fight or flight, survival mode, stress, taking on so much stuff. Maybe the mom was a single mom and had to work 5 jobs to try and make everything work and they didn't make a lot of money. Like whatever the case might be, whatever the weight of the family. And then maybe the mom's parents were sick and she had to take care of them plus 5 jobs and all this kind of stuff and had a couple of kids at home. The daughter may then develop scoliosis because she's taking on the weight from her mom. She's trying to take that weight off of her mom. And again, this is subconsciously. It's not like the daughter's like, oh, I want scoliosis. No, but the daughter is taking on the weight of her mom, trying to take some of it off her mom and put it onto her. And then she develops this condition from it. Okay. Again, there's no good and there's no bad. And I really, really, really want you to focus on that. They're just experiences. We can work with this. This is all energy based stuff. We can work with it. Okay. The lower spine, so the L1 and the L5, so the sacral and scrotum area, it's money issues and it's sexuality. Depending on how it came about. It could be money issues and it could be sexuality based on a belief system of sexuality and sex. So, how did your parents talk about sex to you? How did your parents believe in sex? Was it good? Was it bad? Should you not? All that kind of stuff when you become a teenager and people are putting all this information into your subconscious at that point of whatever their belief systems are and they're putting it onto you. If you believe that belief system and you believe it to be true, then you may have an issue later on where you're going to have lower back pain and back problems because of that belief system. And it's not just your parents, but it could be your peers. It could be sex education at school. It could be whatever the case might be where you're getting that information from, or it could be a financial situation as well. Money issues, not having enough money, maybe having too much money, that type of thing could lead to lower back problems. Okay. Again, these are belief systems. So depending on how strong our belief system is about something, it's going to affect our body in some way or not. It's just how it is. You can change your belief system. You can do work on literally changing it. You can do guided meditations on changing it. I know the Akashic Records, we can go in and change belief systems quite easily with a guided meditation. So there is all of that you can go in and change it. Okay. The tailbone is you don't feel like you have a place to sit either at home or at work. Kind of makes sense, right? That's where you're sitting. So you don't feel like you're valued at home. You don't feel like you're valued at work. You don't feel like you have a place where you belong. Your jaw. So if you have TMJ, if you're grinding your teeth at night, it's a control issue. Control. I see right now where my son loves to control, and he got that from me. And he has been grinding his teeth for 2 years now. And finally, I was like, okay, David, what's going on? Like, why is he grinding his teeth? I've done a lot of work with David, and David is such a beautiful soul. And I never get offended when he tells me something. And he looks at me and goes, Don, it's from the mother because he's 4. And I was like, yes, He goes, and he just looks at me. I'm like, I don't have a control problem, like joking because he knows that I have a massive control problem and I want to control everything. And it's like, okay, I get it. Again, control. I'm controlling so much. He's picking up on the control and now he's trying to control and now he's grinding his teeth because of the control. Okay, I get it. Mom's got to not control so much. So, depending on when, again, the grinding of the teeth happened, will depend on what side it came from. My son is under the age of 5. It came from the maternal side. Now, had he started grinding his teeth anywhere between the age of 5 to 12, it would be on the paternal side. If he started grinding his teeth after the age of 12, it is on him. He is the one that is putting that belief and control system into his body, okay? So you got to look at the ages in which these are coming up. Let's get into if it's the jaw, it is control, need, or lack of control. So you need to have control or you have a lack of control. So with control, we control because of deep fears. Again, I said that in the beginning, right? Stress equals control, which is a deep fear. Okay. So we control because of a deep fear. To balance control, you need to trust with your heart. You need to trust that everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to work out. So that's how we're going to balance the control. When it's bone and muscle, it's the strength. So it could be the strength of the father, the strength of the mother. And you're like super flexible. Okay. Like if you could bend your finger all the way back or your joint or whatever. That, again, when did that happen? When was that there? It will be, again, due to no control. So example, you're at the age of 6. All of a sudden you realize you're able to bend all your fingers back. That is going to be your father with the organs, the liver and the gallbladder is anger and resentment. If you do not release the anger, it turns into resentment. Now, with anger, this is very interesting. If you look at the Chinese medicine wheel, it will end up in your heart. At the very end, anger will end up in your heart space, which is resentment will end up there. And if it has gone through the liver, the gallbladder, the lungs, and another point, and it gets to your heart, that is the last stop. Okay. That is really hard to work on and it takes a lot of working. It's not an instant fix. Okay. It is going to take a lot of work to get all of that anger and resentment out. If you are angry, the best thing you can do is to release that anger. Now, there's always a better way of handling it. Like if you're angry at someone, you don't go and you punch them, right? Like that's not really the best way of handling it. If you're angry at someone, you can journal. You can do guided meditations to them and talk to their soul about it. If you can't have that face to face conversation with that person because you're anxious, nervous, you're worried about how they're going to feel, you're worried that it's going to cause more stress, it's going to maybe bring some things up, there's going to be a massive fight from it, you can talk to their soul, either in a dream, in a guided meditation. You can just sit down in a quiet room and have that soul to soul conversation with them. You can do that kind of stuff. That's a really good way of getting the anger out. One way that I do it, that I talk it out. Right then and there, I'm talking it out. I'm like, my husband didn't put the milk away today. Like, what was he thinking? Why did he put the milk away? Now the milk's going to spoil, blah, blah, blah. And I go on this tangent. I'm getting that out so it's not staying in my system. It's not causing liver issues. It's not causing gallbladder issues. If your gallbladder has been removed, here's two things. A, I do a liver cleanse. Okay. And I have learned a lot about the liver and the gallbladder. The gallbladder is an important part of your body. Okay. Just because you had a gallbladder stone does not mean that they need to remove it. Please, for the love of God, if this is happening to you, please get the book, The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush, and read it and learn. Please, please, please. What I have learned from that book is that the liver first cleans all the toxins. What it cannot, it goes into the gallbladder. The gallbladder is essentially the garbage dump, if you will, of our liver, okay? You need the gallbladder. If you do not have a gallbladder, you now no longer have the garbage dump, which means that your liver is doing double the work, triple the work, and toxins are in your body, okay? Please do not get rid of a gallbladder. Please, please, please keep your gallbladder. Cleanse your liver. Do things to help you. Look at your situation. Look at your life. But are you angry all the time? Are you stressed all the time? Do you have massive resentment? You got to work on that stuff as well to help cleanse the liver. And then you got to do a liver cleanse to help cleanse the liver and the gallbladder. And I say this because I did live blood. I've seen my liver prior to liver flushes and cleanses, and I have seen my liver after the liver flush and cleanse. Okay. My liver is so good right now. Okay. It is good. It is healthy. We're good. I also just express how I feel all the time now. I just like, "Meh," and it's out. I don't keep it in. I don't. A body talk practitioner also said once, he goes, "Why do you think that the bitchiest person will stay alive longer than the nicest person? Because the bitchy person says what they think and they get it out. The nice person keeps it in because they're too afraid of hurting someone's feelings or something like that, right? So they're absorbing all of that, not getting rid of it, not releasing it. And then the bitchy person, they're just getting it out, and they live longer. I don't know. Is it true? Is it not? I don't know. He just said that. Lungs and large intestine are grief. The kidneys and the bladder is fear. So if you have kidney stones, if you have bladder infections, it's fear based. You need to figure out what you're fearful of and you need to work on that, okay? The spleen, the pancreas, and the stomach is worry. Your heart is attached to the small intestine, and that is joy and sadness. Okay, so if you're having some digestive issues, it could partly be, again, your stomach, your large intestine with some grief, and it could be joy and sadness, right? But grief and sadness kind of play hand in hand. Grief typically is about a 6 month to a 1 year cycle. If it's longer than that, I'm not meaning like you miss the person every so often or you think of the person, but like it's debilitating you, I guess. That would be called long-term grief. And that's where it becomes pathological and it'll start going into your lungs. It could too be that you're grieving yourself. You're grieving your old self or you're grieving something for yourself as well. It's not just the loss of somebody as well. Okay. So I know right now when I went to live blood, we saw a lot of issues on my lungs. It could be the smoker and using pellet smoke for 2 years to cook our meat. Could be that. Or it could be the grief of my brother as well that may not have processed right away. Well, I know I didn't process right away. I had a lady at work, she lost her sister. And the one advice that I could give her was take the time. Don't feel like you have to come back to work. Take the time for you and your family and grieve your sister. Because I didn't do that. I took 2 weeks and I was like, oh, I'm strong. I can do this. And I went back to work and I didn't grieve my brother. And there are times, yes, it still comes up. And yes, of course, I still miss him. And yes, of course, I still cry. But it was 3, 4 years after his passing where I was finally grieving him. And it wasn't pretty. It was a lot harder of a grief at that point in time because it had been so long. So just saying, take the time, grieve if you need to. So the hands, the back of the hand and the palm is going to be father issues. Okay. If it's the thumb, it's nourishment. So typically you'll see littler kids, even kids that are a little bit older, sucking their thumb. That would be a nourishment issue. And depending on the time frame of when they start sucking their thumb, will be, was it maternal or was it paternal? Typically, kids suck their thumb when they're very, very young. So it's going to be a maternal one. Again, newborn to 5 is maternal, right? On the mother's side. So that could be lack of nourishment from their mom, meaning they're not getting enough connected time with their mom. They're not getting enough attention. They're not getting the nourishment that they need, like physical nourishment from their mom, that type of thing. Okay. The index finger is judgment and authority, which makes sense. What do? We point our finger at somebody and we shake our hand like, you did that wrong. That's a judgment of us saying, you are doing it wrong. And authority basically saying, don't do it like that again. Right. Okay. The middle finger is sexuality and anger. And what do? You're mad at someone, they cut you off while you're driving your car, you flip them the bird and you say, screw you, right? That is sexuality and anger. The ring finger is commitment, which is identity, changes, contracts, something like that. And if you think about it, you're putting a ring on your ring finger to your spouse, your partner. That's a commitment to them. You have a binding contract because you got married to them, which is a contract. It's a commitment. Again, it's your identity. Your identity changes, especially if you're changing your last name. Your identity changes. You're no longer single. You're no longer just dating this person. You are now literally committed, changing your last name, and you have a binding contract with that person. That is what your ring finger is. Your pinky is secrets. It can be family secrets. It can be secrets that you're holding yourself. And in class, we had a lady who actually couldn't move her pinky finger very far or something like that. So she quietly, while we were learning about this, asked her finger, what secrets am I holding that are mine or of my family that I no longer need, that no longer serve me for my highest purpose? Can you please release them? And they released. And then she was able to bend her finger further down. That is so crazy. The next one we have is your elbow. So if it's the inside of your elbow, you're holding on to something. You're wanting to hold on to it. You're holding on super tight. Maybe it's something that needs to be let go. You're not letting go, and it's the inside of your elbow. Okay. The outside of your elbow is you're pushing away. You don't want it. You're pushing it away. You don't want to receive it. You're trying to get rid of it, whatever the case might be. The forearm is frustration. This is so interesting. I just love this stuff so much. Your thighs as well are frustration. The wrist is you don't like what you're doing. Okay, that makes sense. Think about carpal tunnel. You're at work. You don't really enjoy the work that you're doing. You're sitting at a desk all day. You're on the computer all day and you're working with a mouse. It's not something that's very liberating to you. It's not something where you feel really called to do it. Maybe you do it because you like the benefits. Maybe you do it because you like the paycheck. Maybe you do it because you don't mind the people that you work with and it's a little bit of a social outing or something, but it's not what you really want to do. It's not what your soul is calling you to do. And all of a sudden you're getting carpal tunnel. And so you go to the doctor and they're like, oh, it's from you using a mouse all day. Well, how come the other 200 people in your workplace don't have carpal tunnel, but you have carpal tunnel? They're doing the same thing. They're sitting there, they're using the mouse, blah, blah. Really sit down and ask yourself, do you like what you are doing? Is this what you want to be doing? Because if the answer is no, that's why you have carpal tunnel, because you really don't like what you're doing. Sometimes you'll find too, a lot of people will develop carpal tunnel near the end of their career where they're ready to retire and they really want to retire, but they know that they got to give that last 5 years in order to make the most for their retirement or whatever the case might be. They just don't feel like they can retire at this point in time for whatever the reason might be. And now they're developing carpal tunnel because of that. Because really what they want to be doing at that point in time is be retired and go traveling or do something gardening or whatever the case might be. Okay. So the wrist is you don't like what you are doing. The hips, there's a lot of information on this one, but it basically is security and stability. So masculine and feminine need to be balanced. If you have problems with your hip, you're playing a role with your partner. If you're female, you're a wife, you're a mother, you're sort of put into this kind of box. Maybe you're not having an identity. If it's the left side of you, that is your feminine side. If it's the right side of you, that is your masculine side. So again, if you're male and it's your left side, it's going to be a security and stability either with yourself, with your family members, with your partner, whatever the case might be. And again, when did this kind of arise? It'll be the feminine side if you are male. Okay. It'll be something, even if you're female, it's going to be feminine. So if you're male and it's on your left side, you'd be like, oh, it's, my mom or it's my wife or something like that. Okay. Now on the right side, that is the masculine side. So that is someone, if you're female, it's going to be your husband. It's going to be maybe a father figure, maybe a son, something like that. Okay. You need to feel secure and stable. And a lot of this was around with a partner. So you need to feel secure and stable with your partner. You need to feel that your partner is attracted to you even if you are not attracted to you. You still need to feel that stability, that security that your partner isn't going to go somewhere because they are attracted to you. Does that sort of make sense? You need more support from your partner. It also is about sexuality at that point in too. Okay, so you need more support. So for the legs, the lower part of your leg, so knee down, is mother related. The ankle is father related. The upper part of your leg, so knee up, is mother related and feelings about adulthood. Your knees is fear and willpower. So, submission, struggle, something like that. Your calf is about guilt. Your shins is holding you. So, basically, it's how can I hold me in this life? Your obligation. That type of thing is going to be your shin. So, you see a lot of teenage boys specifically will have a lot more shin splints when they are teenagers, and we call them growing pains or whatever the case might be. But that is really their subconscious asking, how can I hold me in this life? What's my obligation? Am I obligated to be the next person to fall in line to the family business? Am I obligated to become this tradesperson? Am I obligated to go to university? Am I obligated? Am I obligated? Do I have to be the best hockey player out there because mom and dad want me to be the best hockey player out there? And they think that I love hockey so much, but in truth, I really don't, but I just do it to get their approval. That kind of thing. Okay. The right knee is going to be obligation. So to do from somebody else. So obligation that somebody else is putting onto you is going to be your right knee. Your left knee is obligation to you. What do you want to do? On the back of your legs is stubbornness. We're getting into the last part here. So there's a lot of information, but it's really good. And that's why I said you might want to look at this a little deeper and come back to this podcast a couple of times, write it all down, listen first, and then come back and write down more what's important to you. The feet and lower legs, that is mother related. The big toe is obligation. So over mothering. Do you have a problem with the big toe? Because you're over mothering. Bunions, it's super, super protection because you're over mothering, you're overbearing, you're pushing your children, maybe as well. In that case, maybe a mother is pushing you and then you end up with a bunion. It's mother related. I know bunions are usually for the female side of things. Don't see a lot of men with bunions, but again, it's a mother related thing. So just something to think about. There's no judgment. Trust me, I got a lot of these issues. There's no judgment, okay? The second toe is for people close to you. So friends, coworkers, siblings, something's going on with that, okay? So you're not believing something like your belief system about something with them or whatever the case might be. The third toe is communication. The fourth toe is resentment. So resentment, which is anger, which then again is related and linked to the gallbladder. The baby toe is environment. So, who is in your territory? How do you feel in that environment? I broke my baby toe, and this is interesting. It's the only bone that I've ever broke in my body. I broke my toe when I was out at Craven. And if you don't know what Craven is, it's a music festival. And this, I don't think it was country when I went this time. I think it was like the rock festival. It switches sometimes. Sometimes it's country. It started out country, then it went rock, then it went back to country. Anyways, I think it was when it was the rock era of it. And it was super, super muddy. I had flip flops on. I was walking. I got stuck in the mud and I fell down. And I literally, like, my toe got stuck in the mud and I fell backwards and it broke my baby toe. And I'm like, the environment. I was like, what was going on? Like, I was with a group of friends. We were drinking, whatever the case might be. And I'm kind of like going through, I'm like, I can kind of see that. I can kind of see the territory thing happening maybe and the environment. I was like, I get it now. I totally, totally get it as to why my baby toe broke. It's really dumb as to why it broke, but it did. But anyways, moving forward from that, I did. I got it taken care of and I still went back to Craven on like Tylenol 3. It was crazy. It was crazy time. I had to walk a lot and it hurt. So yeah, with the baby toe also too, we stub Typically, we stub our baby toe a lot on something. So don't just like look at it and be like, oh, couch, you're in the way. No, no. Look at like what else is going on in your life. Is there someone else in your territory? Did it happen maybe when you're having guests over and they're in your space a little bit more and you're okay with having someone maybe spend the night, but it's at that point where, they need to kind of leave maybe, like you're getting tired of them type of thing. You love them, but you're getting tired and you want your own space. Again, the environment is the energy of your house sort of shifting because you have guests in your house, something like that. Pay attention to that kind of stuff, okay? The ankles. It's to stand up for yourself and to be grounded. So if you have a problem with your ankle, are you standing up for yourself? Are you being grounded? Again, the ankle is a father issue. It's on the father side of things. So look at that. Do you have an issue with your father? Are you standing up for yourself? Are you being grounded in that situation? If there is no arch to your foot, that is a mother issue. Top or bottom with the arch, however it is, that is a mother issue. And you got to look into that as well. If you have an ingrown toenail, it is a mother issue. So it could be, is your mother hurting you in some way? Do you feel a burden of your mother in some way? Something like that. Okay. Fungus on your toe is a mother issue and it is deep rooted. Again, look at that. And again, it doesn't have to be your physical mother. It could be somebody that is a mother figure to you. Do you look at your wife as she's a mother figure? Do you look at your sister as a mother figure? Do you look at your mom as a mother figure? Do you look at an aunt as a mother figure? Something like that as well will be where maybe a deep rooted issue is. And now you have a toe fungus from that. Couple last ones. Don't worry, we're almost there. If you have inflammation, it is protection. Your body is protecting itself. Why do you need that protection? Why do you feel that you need that protection? Look into that as well. Help yourself with that inflammation, okay? It's a protection mechanism that you are doing. You're feeling that you need to be protected. Arthritis is protection and control. You don't value yourself, is what could come up with arthritis. If you have an illness of the blood, so if you have anemia, if you have too much blood, too much red blood cells, something like that, it is family related. It is support and space, okay? You always hear that family is as thick as blood or whatever that case might be, that saying. That right there, it's family related. Anemia, they feel like they have to support the whole family. And what happens when you're anemic? You get tired, you get wore out, you get exhausted, all of that. But you're feeling like you have to support your whole family. You're taking on all of that belief system and all that if you don't do it, no one else is going to do it type of thing, right? Red blood cells, if they're bigger, there is a situation where you can have like bigger blood cells and they just like red blood cells and they just keep growing and growing and growing. You are protecting the whole family. You feel like you have to protect the whole family. So you're making your red blood cells bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Body and our subconscious is just so amazing. If you have excess blood, you're feeling an obligation of some sort, okay? Your collarbone is to do with your father, something with your father in that regards, or again, father figure, whatever the case might be. And your rib, if you break a rib, if something happens to your rib, that is protection. The rib is there to protect. It's a protection. You're feeling like you need protection or you're feeling like you have too much protection, something like that. Okay. That is pretty much all that I have. I do want to preface, and I should have said this in the beginning, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, always, and anything like this. There is so much information on the body. There is so much information of what each part of the body could mean. This is just one sliver of it. You could look at the Chinese and what they believe. You could look at the meridians. You could look at the chakras. There's just so much information out there. But this is just a nice, quick sort of overview, I guess, that you can look into and you'd be like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. Or maybe it isn't. Like maybe, your pinky, you're not holding secrets and your family's not holding secrets. Again, it can be before, it could be your ancestral line before you were born and now you're showing it. Or it could be something that happened newborn to age 5, 5 to 12, and 12 and up, right? Just take a look. And it was a really great connection as well to see how we can affect a lot of things that are going on with our children. So and ourselves. How did it happen to ourselves? In this day and age, it seems like the more trauma you have, the more validated you are in a way. Like everyone's like, oh, trauma, trauma, trauma. I have childhood trauma, trauma. Okay, maybe. Does your body show it a little bit? Like, there's always that to kind of look at too, right? Not saying that you didn't absorb trauma, but when did you absorb that trauma? And to be able to know, is it mother side? Is it father side? That's kind of good to know too. It doesn't have to physically be your mother and it doesn't have to physically be your father. And I want to state that because there's a lot of times where when we hear that, we put so much blame on ourselves and we victimize ourselves. And here is the thing, and I'm going to say it, I've already said it in one of my podcasts before. Everything is perception. I may have a limiting belief and a deep rooted limiting belief from my parent or parents because of something that happened that they think that they were trying to do good for me, but I picked up that it was bad. Okay, so a really good example of this is, and I've said it before in my podcast, but there's a couple of kids and they're going sleighing down the hill. And as the mom was pushing the kids down, she'd be like, wee! And the one kid was like, oh, this is amazing. I love it. And she asked the kids later on because this sleigh she had hung up in her garage as a remembrance of what they would do before they went to school every day. And she asked her two kids, and she goes to the one, she goes, do you remember that? And he's like, it was great. It was wonderful. Like, I loved it. It was like the best day of my life. Like, I always look forward to getting up in the morning to be able to go sleighing before we had to go to school. Like, I just loved it. And she turned to the other kid, and the other kid's like, I hated it. She's like, what? You hated it? Why? And he goes, because every time you went, ee, he goes, I thought I was going to die. I thought like my life was going to end before I got to school that day. Every single day. He goes, I hated it. Two different perceptions. The same event, two different perceptions. Two different kids, two different perceptions of the same event. The mom thought she was creating joy and ease and fun and excitement for the kids. One kid absolutely loved it. The other kid absolutely was petrified and terrified every single day. Do you see how it is so simple for us to go and blame ourselves and become a victim that, oh my God, I destroyed my kid. Oh my God, I did something wrong. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You will never be the perfect parent. Stop trying. Stop worrying so much about being the perfect parent and just be true to yourself. Please, the day that you are truest to yourself is a day that things become easy, light, and joyful. Honestly, perception is everything, and you do not know how your kid is going to perceive that conversation. You don't know how your kid is going to perceive that event that you went to. You thought the event was fun. They thought the event was the most scariest thing in the world. You thought the event was the most scariest thing in the world. They thought the event was the most fun thing in the world. Perception is what we are allowed in this life. We are allowed to have perception. And again, there's no right, there is no wrong, there's just experiences. Your children are experiencing. You yelling one day because you're so wore out, exhausted, tired, and you can't cope anymore because you have your own internal crap going on, whatever the case might be. Maybe you have financial struggles, maybe you have work struggles, maybe you're going through emotional changes and hormonal changes in your body and you don't understand it. Whatever the case might be, and you had it for the day, you can't handle it. And what comes out is a yell. You did not destroy your child. I need you to understand that. And it's so hard because every time you open up social media lately, it is literally making you a victim on everything. Oh my God, you did this. Oh my God, you did this. Oh my God, you're the worst person. You're the worst person. You're the worst person. How do we even talk good about ourselves? You can't. You can't say, like, holy shit, I had a bad day today. Didn't handle that well. And you go and you repair it with your child and you say, hey, I'm sorry, I yelled. That was on me. I should not have done that. I apologize for that. You did nothing wrong. Here's where mom was coming from or dad was coming from, whatever the case might be. You explain, you do that. You're not going to be perfect. So quit trying to victimize yourself. And what I'm saying with this is just because your child has a situation, maybe, and you're like, oh my God, it's because of me. It's because of me that this happened. Don't victimize yourself. And in return, don't victimize your family members either. Don't be like, oh, my mom was the worst mom or oh, my dad was the worst dad. Look at what they gave me. Look at what, because of that, I have this ailment now and this is happening to my body. Take responsibility for yourself, for starters. Number one, take responsibility for yourself. You have the limiting belief. Whatever that limiting belief was, you have it. So work on figuring out the deep rooted cause of that limiting belief. Why do you have it? Work on it, release that limiting belief. Give yourself the power. Yourself, you are a super, super powerful being. Give yourself the power to say, I am going to correct this. I no longer need to have this. I no longer need to be in this pain. I no longer need to believe this. You have that power. Thank the figure that gave it to you, maternal or paternal, mother, father, doesn't matter. Thank that figure. Say, thank you for giving me this gift of healing our line, because that's what you're doing. When you work on that knee pain, when you work on that liver pain, when you work on whatever the ailment might be, you are literally helping to heal your line 7 generations above, 7 generations below. You are healing that line. You're not just healing yourself, you are healing above, you are healing below. Do you understand? You are helping to heal the line. Thank the source to be able to help heal your line. Give love, give forgiveness to that person. Maybe there was a lot of limiting beliefs brought up from your family. That's okay. Work on them. It's okay. We can change at any point in time. The biggest thing is we have a lot of fear of change, and we have a lot of fear of change because when we change, we will not know who we are. We cannot see ourselves as that changed person. It is easier to be this because we see it, but to change it, it is scary. Are we going to be loved? Are we going to be wanted? Are we going to be needed? Are there going to be people around? Are we going to lose people? If I don't have this handicap, am I going to have someone that's going to take care of me? Am I going to have the support? Who am I if I don't have this handicap? We can victimize ourselves so much. There is also a thing where being the victim is actually a nervous system regulation in a way, because your nervous system doesn't know how to not be a victim. You have been conditioned so much to be a victim that you don't know what it's like not to be a victim. And I mean, victimizing isn't like someone's coming at you at knife point every other day. No, it could be the simple things where, oh, this person did this to me. This person spoke to me bad. I got trauma from that. This happened to me. This happened to me, and everything. Nobody likes me. I'm not wanted. I'm not good enough. All that is victimizing ourselves. And we're putting that victimization on ourselves because we don't know how not to be a victim. So we've learned and we've been conditioned to be a victim, and we don't know what it looks like not to. So we find these little things to start victimizing ourselves with. So again, please do not victimize yourself. Do not victimize your family line in any way. Just please, 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 I beg of you to please just do the healing work. If you need help with this, if it's too much and you don't know how to start, or you don't know where to start, or you don't want to do it on your own and you want a facilitator, please reach out. Reiki is a great, great healing tool that we could do. The Akashic Records is a great healing tool that we could do to help out with this. 100%. I could easily go into your Akashic Records, meet with your higher self, meet with your teachers, meet with your masters, meet with your guides, and ask, hey, so and so has knee pain. What was this from? Can you show me the instance where this limiting belief came in? What is the limiting belief? Can we work on that limiting belief? Okay, can I release that limiting belief? Boom, done. Okay, we're going to rewrite that limiting belief, right? At that point in time, we're going to rewrite it. We're going to help you. Okay, it is a great, great tool, the Akashic Records and Reiki, for this. If you want help with that, please reach out. I'm more than willing to help you with it. I would love to help you with it. Of course, I would. Services that I offer, like I said, I offer Akashic Records. I offer Reiki. I offer access bars. You can go to my website at elevatedsoulhealing.com. You can find all my services. I just updated all of my services. I spent 4 hours the other day updating services on there. So please go take a look, reach out to me. If you have any questions, you can email me at elevatedsoulhealing@gmail.com with your questions. I would be more than happy to get back to you to help you answer your questions. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. So there's Elevated Soul Healing on both Facebook and Instagram, and Elevated on Facebook, and Elevated Pod on Instagram. You can follow me there. You can DM me there. You can do however you want to get a hold of me. Please feel free to get a hold of me if you have questions. Feel free to go to my website, book in, And if it's something like this where you wanna work on something because you have knee pain, please book a session. And if you're not sure if you wanna do the Akashics, if you wanna do Reiki, email me. We can talk. We can discuss it, okay? We can say, "Oh, I think right now let's try with this. If that doesn't work, we'll go into this. No big deal." Or I can do a combo of this and this. Maybe I just need a half an hour of doing Reiki on your knee because we're only specifically working on your knee. And maybe I can do a quick question in the Akashics to work with that knee pain. And it's an hour session. No big deal. We can work on it. Okay. We can create whatever you need to be created to help you heal. You can go to elevatedsoulhealing.com and you can email me at elevatedsoulhealing@gmail. I want to thank you so very much for being here today. I know it was a longer episode, but oh, I just love it. I just love knowing what our body is trying to tell us. I love going in and thinking about it. I know that I had forearm pain. It was in my forearm and kind of my elbow. It's kind of the back part of my elbow, my forearm. So now I know, oh, I'm pushing something away and I'm frustrated, pushing away and frustrated. Okay, let's work on that. Let's get that fixed because I don't enjoy it. I'm just going to say, and it's on my right side too. And I really don't enjoy it. That's my strongest side, right? So now I know I can go in and I can fix that. Okay. I just love teaching you guys so very much. I thank you so very much for being here today. If you have not already, please subscribe to the podcast. It'll just instantly pop up in your podcast feed and you never have to go and find me. It's just there every single week when I upload a new episode. It's there. You don't have to think about it. If you could take the time, I would truly appreciate to either rate, review, comment, share this podcast with somebody. Again, one of the biggest things that I want to do is grow my podcast in 2026. And how do I do that? I do that by subscriptions. I do that by comments, by ratings, and by shares. So I would appreciate all of that. And I thank you so very much. And again, thank you so very much for being here. I absolutely love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you next